Podcast. And how are we doing, Band City? How are we doing, guys? How are the heads? How are the heads? How are your heads? Why is he shouting? I'm basically acting like that stern parent who's literally having to try and shove their kid out of bed because they're massively hungover because they got absolutely pissed the night before. Alright? How's your hangovers? Okay? Or I should ask, has anyone been to Dunkin' Donuts yet? And told KK she needs a hand in her P45? No, it's a true story, She actually works at Dunkin' Donuts. She's gonna have to get that job in now. Now she's got a full-time gig in the P job, so yeah. But yeah, I am so happy for you guys. I really am. Like, genuinely, I really am. If you were to ask me going into the start of the season, not which team I think needs the gold plan, but which team would I like to see get the gold plan, it probably would have been Vancouver. Because I feel this team needs a higher draft pick, especially with the amount of talent that was coming in to this league. Even if it's not first overall, I still think Vancouver could do well with whoever they take, you know. And obviously, when the season got going, we saw Vancouver struggling. You did kind of think, oh, well, maybe they're going to have to be fight for gold plan rather than World Cup playoffs. You know, because, let's say it, the Goldeneyes were technically in the game for a long period of time. I mean, if we go back to when we hit the pause for Milano Cortina, if we go back to that, Vancouver weren't that far behind. I think they were about maybe 5 or 6 points back of that last spot. So they were so they weren't that far behind. They were even though they were in 6th place behind Ottawa and New York. Yes, boys and girls, going into that break, New York had the last playoff spot. Look what happened. Yeah. So going into that break from the local team, Vancouver weren't mathematically out, but they knew they had a lot to do. They had a very steep mountain to climb. You know? And I think they recognised that when they made that trade with Ottawa not long before Milano Cortina. So you just knew Vancouver. They knew something wasn't working. They made they rolled the dice. They made the trade, and unfortunately, it just didn't quite work in their favour. I mean, I always knew Ottawa won that trade. I always knew. Especially with what Vancouver gave Ottawa. I always knew they would go with that trade. Yeah, and the homestand they had coming after Milano Cortina, that is what pretty much killed it. That's what killed it. Because coming out of Milano Cortina, Vancouver had a 5-game homestand. The majority of it actually happened while we were actually in the States. And our first game, Super City Coliseum, was the last game on that homestand. And unfortunately, it just didn't work out for them at all. I mean, I think they only got 1 win out of that homestand, and it was against New York. It was on the last day of our trip when we were playing Ottawa. They were hosting New York. That was the only got that. And I think us three kind of look at that and think, yeah, that's the point where that homestand. That's the point which just basically killed Vancouver off, because if they could have maximised that, they could have still been in the thick of it, and we probably would not be where we are now. Oh God forbid, New York might have won it again. Oh no. Anyway, yeah. So we've already done it. Speaking of which, we've already done an episode on the gold plan race that happened. Yay! First time I could do that. First time in our 3-year history I've been able to do an episode on the gold plan race, because it actually was a gold plan race this year. So that has just made me so happy. You know, because we want teams to be competitive all the way through the season. Even if you're then having to fight for the draft order points, we still want you to be competitive. So, Yeah. Look, so I'm really happy for the Goldeneyes. Because I honestly, we got to those last few weeks of the season, I just felt sorry for them. You know, I'll be honest with you guys. Going into the regular season, if you were to ask me which team do I think could dethrone us, I would have said Vancouver. I mean, Lady spent the entire summer praising them every step of the way. Every time we got more pieces to the puzzle added, she just couldn't stop singing their praises, because Vancouver did everything right in how to build a PHL franchise. If you're trying to build a PHL franchise, Vancouver is the blueprint. Although not every market's going to be able to have a empty venue sitting there. Not every market, but there you go. But obviously, Vancouver is the ideal blueprint for building a franchise in the league. They are. Just do it. Just trust me, they are. Yeah. And I personally felt on paper, looking at that roster, I felt that this is a team that easily could get into a pole position if they do, especially how good they've been on home ice at the City Coliseum this year. I think they could have done some damage, and I think they could have been the second team in history to win the World Cup on their first go. Okay. And I did also say, I'm not sure if it's on the record or not, but I did say with Vancouver, if they don't win it this year, then within the first 5 years of their existence, they will get a cup. I believe Vancouver is a team that easily, within the next 5 years, can win a World Cup. So, it's not good. So it's not going to be this year. It could be within the next 5 years. So that's, and I think the chances are now higher, given with what is on the table, guys. Which we're going to come on to in a moment. We're going to come on to it. In fact, will he dare come on and say it? Oh, you will? Right. Let me carry on and I'll call you over. He's going to come over. I honestly didn't think he was going to do that. Yeah, because somebody in this trio has already put their money where their mouth is, and we still haven't got draft details yet. We are recording this on April the 27th, so 2 days after the regular season concluded, and at the time of recording, we still do not have any details on the draft. We know Vancouver is definitely picking first overall. We know that for certain. After that, it's a toss-up. On the goal plan race episode, told you how I think we should do the draft this year, but who knows? Who knows? All we know for certain is Vancouver is definitely picking first in every single round. We know that for certain. Okay. And so I think for Vancouver, winning the goal plan is going to really help you guys just accelerate to where you want to be. And because I think for Vancouver next year the target should be playoffs. They got themselves in a competitive position. I mean, it's funny, man, because I don't think, and these two can back me up in a minute, I don't think at any point in the season Vancouver or Seattle were ever in a playoff spot. Correct? Yeah. Thanks guys. Yeah. So Vancouver and Seattle never got into a playoff spot at all throughout the regular season. And yet Vancouver were always hovering in the mix. They're kind of like what Ottawa were in season 1. You know, they just can't quite seem to get over the fence. You know, it's like if you're doing a party and your next door neighbours are trying to be like, oh, what's going on? Oh, hot tub! Yeah, you know, you not had that. You not had that where you're like hosting a garden party and you got your nosy neighbours trying to think, oh, what's going on over there? Oh, champagne! Yeah. They're not really common these days, but when I was a kid in the noughties, it was a very common thing in this country, particularly the summer, that you would have like sort of garden parties, and the neighbours would always then try to poke their heads over because obviously they can tell something's going on. They're like, oh, why can't we be part of that? Yeah, they're not really common now. I'm not surprised in this day of age. Everyone just wants to do Insta and YouTube. I don't blame them. I'm guilty of that myself. On Spotify, thank you. And Spotify, those are the main 3 these days. Thank you. And Tinder for us bachelors out there. Anyway, but yeah. So I just been by getting to have that first overall pick. this is really going to help Vancouver get to where they want to be just that little bit more easier. Because if you draft well in June, can't believe the draft is a few weeks' time. We've got World Cup playoffs starting this week, and then before you know it, we are going to be in June, and the draft will be here, and oh my bloody god. Oh my god. We're not ready. We're not ready for the season to end. We're not ready for that long off season. We're not ready. We technically have got this off season covered with episodes because we've still got a lot of Olympic stuff still to do. Lady Mia get you geared up for the World Championships, which will be happening at the start of November. So just before season 4 gets underway. But obviously we've also got report cards for all teams. So even though we have got lots of stuff to do in the summer, we're not ready for it. We don't want it to happen. We're having too much fun. We always do. But if you can draft well, Vancouver, in June, if you can draft well, then you could actually accelerate your growth a lot faster and could potentially put yourself in a playoff spot this time next year. The question is, will it be 16 or will it 18? Because if we have another expansion again this year, then clearly for next season they're going to have to change the playoff format. And I have heard there are 2 potential scenarios you could do, which we are going to talk about another time. I'll get Pluto on, and we will talk about it. We know what we want for next year's playoffs, but no. And for Vancouver, you and Jude are going to be that team who's basically going to be like the cat that got the cream, because there's so much talent. Oh god, I actually can't wait to see the declaration list. I think the declaration period is still open. And then at some point in May, we will have that list. And oh my god, it's going to be... It'll be interesting to see how many are on that list. Because that might depend on how... Because that might then give us an indication of how many teams we're going to have next year. I still think we'll have the 6 rounds. I think 6 rounds worked last year, because obviously last year we went from 7. We had 6 rounds compared to the previous year we had 7. I think 6 rounds actually was enough. Every team managed to draft a really good draft class 2025. So I think 6 rounds was enough. If you do any more than 6, it just gets to that bit of taking the piss territory. It's just like, come on, because we did. If it's any more than 6 rounds, you then push like, well, we may as well just draft everybody. Yeah. And of course, obviously, if you guys saw last year's NHL draft, oh dear. What's Buffalo gonna do this year to try and keep the crowd entertained? Because that's gonna be tricky. Anyway, we'll worry about it. We'll worry about it another time. That's not my problem. But I don't bother with the NHL draft anymore. I don't. Not since Macklin. I don't bother with it anymore because it's just like, nah. It's too long. The draft of the NHL is too long these days. It really is. So if you lose interest halfway through, it's just like, what's the point? Anyway, So I think it's really good to go on ice, because this team underperformed. There were high expectations put on this team. Everybody kind of felt Vancouver was going to run away with the lead this year. So I think we're all a bit. I mean, while you can't deny we have got the best 4 teams in the playoffs. You can't do think, oh, Vancouver should be in there as well. Vancouver should be in there because this team, it looked like it was a team on paper that was going to win the World Cup. It looked like that was their destiny this year, and a lot of things didn't come together, and unfortunately, Vancouver were on the outs looking in, and they're only out by a couple of points. So, yeah, 5 points, I believe. In fact, I'm just going to check that. Or might be 7. Just double check that. Vancouver. Yeah, sorry, 7. 7 points out, not 5. So Vancouver had 37 points in total. Their record this year was 9-3-4-14. So 12 wins and 18 losses, 37 points. They got 68 goals scored, but conceded 81. That's a goal differential of minus 13, which is not bad compared to some of the other teams in the league. So yeah, but I just feel for them. You know, 7 points is the difference between them and Ottawa. So that is basically 2 regulation wins and an OT or shuttle win, and that would have got them in. You have to wonder also how big of a deal that loss to us back in Minnesota just a few weeks ago. How big that was, because obviously in MSG, on the day of MSG, we were the earlier game, and that was a barner, you know. So you gotta wonder, did that also kill them? So yeah, but largely that homestand that they had coming out of Milan Cortina, that for me is also what I think killed Vancouver in the end, because before that, the Goldeneyes did very, very well on home ice in the Coliseum. They managed to make that as one of their strengths. So you've been coming back from Milan Cortina, you got a 5-game homestand, you're only about a couple of points back from the last spot. If you maximise that, you could have been back in. And unfortunately, they only got 1 win out of that homestand, and it was against New York. They did actually come very close. On the day we were flying into Denver, they were playing Ottawa. They very nearly had that. In regulation. But Ottawa found a way to tie it. And then obviously, as we know this year, when Ottawa goes to OT, lights out. So for Boston in the semi-finals, good luck, guys. If you go to OT, which I know you will, okay, because I know we're going to in Plasma as well. You go to OT, watch out for Ottawa this time round. They are deadly this year in OT, as we found out in Chicago back on the second takeover tour stop. Yeah, so crazy. Yeah. So I'm really happy for them. I'm happy for the Goldeneyes, and I think this team could potentially be playoffs next year. It really could. I think if we go, I don't. What? We're already starting that. We're already starting those predictions. Oh no! We're already starting that again. But I think just because of how stacked this draft class is, and you know, and with Vancouver getting to pick first in every round, I do believe that Vancouver could actually put themselves. If they can learn from the mistakes of this year, they could be a playoff contender. And who knows? Who knows what can happen? Because as you'll know, this league, when it comes to playoffs, anything's possible. Anything's possible. We are still yet to see a higher seed win a playoff series in either a semi-final or a final. Does any round full stop? We have yet to see a higher seed win in the playoffs. We have yet to see that. Come back to me in June. I'll see if it's still the case. We'll be doing the playoff show. So come back to me then. Come back to me then. Right, but I'm really happy for them. So as we know, Vancouver will get to pick first overall. As we all know, this year's draft class is set to be the most stacked in our short history. And somebody has already put their pen to paper on who's going first overall. So I'm going to quickly top up my water, and then we're going to bring him out. Right, come on down, Pluto. Right, here he comes. Come on now. Yes, what have you done? Right, come on now. Come on now, boy. Right. Come on. Yeah. Oh, for God's sake. Where do you get this slang from? It's not me. Right, so. Go ahead. Right, okay, yeah. So, basically, not long after Malala Cortina, I basically said who I thought could be the first overall pick. Because it's highly likely that every prospect you saw on TSA is going to be drafted in this league. Yep, so Harvey, Edwards, Dunn, Durkee, Murphy, all locked in. They're all locked in. That's your first round right there. Yeah, that's the bulk of your first round right there. Yeah. So, I personally felt very confident in saying that KK is going to be the first overall pick. You did. The flame had barely extinguished in Malala Cortina, and you straight away said, "I think Kyle Harvey's going first overall." And me and Ada were like, "What?" You know, we still had a full second half to go. We still had our trip to come, and you straight away already said who you thought was going to get taken first overall. You just went straight in there. You like a ball in a tire shot. You just went straight there. You just went straight in for it. You just went straight in there for it. Well, she was the tournament MVP. Yeah, she was the tournament MVP, which is amazing. Given how you could have given it to Megan Keller, who of course did get the golden goal. But yeah, I believe that. You literally went straight at it. Yeah. And I was like, are you insane? Have you learned nothing from what I did last year with Casey O'Brien? Are you insane, man? Well, you weren't that far off. She got taken third overall. Well, let's face it. I don't think Amos before New York were on the clock in Ottawa. I don't think Amos saw what was going to happen. No. I mean, I think Captain Knockabout still was going to be a first rounder, but probably later it's maybe somebody that Tio or Montreal would snap up. Yeah. I don't deny she's a first rounder. I did feel she was someone who could have gone the first round, but maybe not by. I can't remember what it was that made me so convinced that Casey O'Brien was seen as the likely candidate to go first overall. So we were all fairly confident that Henny Wynn was definitely going to go to Boston. Yeah, we kind of felt that. We kind of felt that Henny Wynn was definitely locked in to go to Boston. And then it was a toss-up with the rest of those first rounders who could then go where. Yeah. So I was quite confident, because I kind of thought if it was me in York's position, I would have gone with Casey O'Brien first overall. Yeah. Now, of course, obviously, they did still get Casey O'Brien. Yeah. Because obviously they made that trade with Tio, who I bet are regretting that. I bet Gia Kingsbury is regretting making that trade, because you could take, because she was there for the taking. Yeah. Because I remember on the draft night, all three of us were surprised in a good way, but we were surprised that New York did that. You know, and we then all as Boston went on the clock, which kind of was a bit of a. We knew what was going to happen with Boston, didn't we? We know what's going to happen, but let's just put them on the clock anyways. We were then thinking, oh my god, it's Casey O'Brien goes to the Scepters. And then when that first trade happened, I was like, oh, here we go. So good on New York, but. Yeah, I bet you're thinking, oh, what did we do there? What did we do? Why did we do that? I bet now people are locked to make trades on the draft or for this year. Yeah, they were so trade happy last year, Ottawa. They were. Because they wanted to get rid of Campbell. Yeah. They wanted to get rid of Kristen Campbell. Yeah. They actually first, before the draft, they did try to ship her to Montreal in exchange for Chuli. So it's basically like a Goldie swap. You give us Chuli, we'll give you Campbell, and Montreal shut that down. But they still got Chuli anyways. It's so funny, because they still got what they wanted. But it just, yeah, it was like, ugh. Yeah. And Vancouver made that move. Yeah. I mean, I'm not too sure how well Campbell's done with Vancouver this year. I think Matt might have been the better one, Vancouver, but they kind of made the move. Thought, yeah, we'll go on, we'll do it. Yeah. Well, you knew you would then have a rock solid tandem. Yeah. In that, yeah, you have two reliable demos who've both been a starter in their previous teams. Yeah. Oh my god, yeah. It'd be interesting to see if we do get any sort of trades on the draft or floor this year, because obviously last year we got I think it's at least 3 on the floor. 2 of them in bold, New York, and T.O., but obviously in different circumstances. Yeah. Yeah, so we'll see how teams will do that this time round. We'll see what happens. Yeah. But you are so confident, yeah, that it's going to be KK. You better be right. You better be right now, because you've put your money where your mouth is. Yeah. So you better be right. You better be hoping they do that. Yeah. Really, so yeah, so that, yeah. So, can I ask you then, since I've got you here, yeah, can I ask you, how do you think KK will do if she does get taken by the Goldeneyes? I think that is the kind of player who Vancouver are looking for. This is a player that is just literally that's just been dynamite. She had a great tournament last year. MVP of the tournament, yeah, tournament MVP. You just know whichever team gets KK, your chances of doing well are gonna just go up. And as we've all felt that Vancouver were under par this year, they didn't perform to the high expectations they had. To then get KK, it's kind of brilliant. Yeah, because you know that you've got a good generational player coming your way. I like the position you were in not too long ago with Matt. Yeah, with Matt. Yeah, because obviously in the season that we got Matt Brady, it was a crap season. Well, the worst I think I've ever been involved in 17 years of Sharks fandom. Well, the worst. And of course, obviously, the NHL Maxley was not guaranteed, because obviously we still had to win the draft lottery. But I couldn't believe my luck when the news came and and it was confirmed we won the lottery. And it's like, oh, and it was going to be in Vegas. Yeah, the draft was also in Vegas that year, so to draft Max Zabrini first of all in the backyard of my arch nemesis, you could not write that, guys. You could not write that. Honestly, you could not write that. The stars aligned then. So yeah, so I think Vancouver, you go look this season thing. Yeah, it didn't go the way we wanted it, but we still have a positive. You know, we earned the first overall draft pick. Yeah, actually earned this year rather than just going to the last place team on the ball. That's what I loved about this season. How even though it was a shortened race, we still had a goal plan race. Yeah, and Vancouver earned it. Yeah. Okay, yes, they finished 6th in the standings, but because of the way the league works, they got the most draft points. Yeah. They got the right to pick first, and if they take KK, they take KK. It kind of felt. Does it feel we're in a position where it could be KK is projected first, and then say Leia Edwards is projected second? Could be. And if so, that's not a bad pick for whoever goes to get draft second. That's not bad. So yeah, it could be, because Leia Edwards has been put in the comments as well the last few weeks. So yeah, so I think one of those two is definitely going to get taken by Vancouver, and whoever doesn't get taken by Vancouver for the first overall pick, it would be like last year with Hayward. You automatically go to the team that's got the second pick. You watch your stuff. Whoever picks second this year, it's just like it's gonna be like Boston last year. It's just a full mad. So you're on the clock, but we all know who you're taking. Just do it. Just do it. We know what's coming. Just get on with it. Just get on with it. Make the pick. You're so confident. I know. You are so confident Vancouver's taking KK, so I don't want to be in your position. I don't want to be in your position on draft night. It doesn't go that way. Because you're going to have to come back on here and be a complete, utter fool. So, good for you. Good luck for you there, boy. Yeah. No, but I definitely think that's Vancouver's getting it first overall. Yeah? Yeah. Okay. Right. Well, honestly, I'm so happy for the Goldeneyes. This is going to be a huge boost to them going forward, you know. Because obviously, we still have no clue what's going on with expansion. I know. Don't bring it up again. Don't bring it up. Don't bring it up. Don't bring it up. It needs to be basically no. It's gonna be. Yeah. Are you already having flashbacks to last year? The lock-in episode. The lock-in episode. That's what we should have called it. Because basically when we did the protection list last year, I basically just treated it as a lock-in situation where it's like, no of us are leaving this room until all these lists are agreed on. We weren't even allowed to go to the loo. We had no food, we had no water, it was blazing heat. We weren't allowed out at all. I did. It's going to be worse this year because if we do get expansion, we've got 2 extra teams that need to have lists drawn out. So for Vancouver, it's all very well good you've won the first overall pick, but chances are you're going to have to start thinking, well, what do we do? Because our team's been torn apart by expansion. Same for Seattle, you know. You're going to get to know what it felt like last year for the overall 6. So, yeah. Oh god. Yeah, you already. Oh god. We barely got through last year's expansion draft. I know. When all our slots were done, the massive sigh of relief we all breathed because there were some big fish on that table last year before the touring Goldeneyes, and they didn't bite. They didn't bite. They did not bite. And when they did bite on one, they just threw it back. Don't. I've had to put up with that for a whole season. Don't. Do not. I know you want to do it. Don't. Do not. Okay? Do not. Yeah. So, honestly, I'm just so pleased to go on ice. This is going to help them in so many ways. It really is. And who knows? They could be a playoff team next year. They really could. They could be. If they draft well, then this team could be in the playoffs this time next year. They could be in the playoffs. Okay? I definitely believe there is a World Cup in Vancouver's future. It just wasn't this year. You still stand by? I still stand by that. I still stand by what I've been saying that for Vancouver. If they don't win a World Cup in 2026, they'll get one in the first 5 years left of their franchise. They will. So it will come your way eventually, Vancouver. It will come your way eventually. But yeah. So obviously, just really pleased with them. So it's gonna be exciting. It's gonna be exciting times ahead. Exciting times ahead, especially this draft class. But yeah, so Vancouver. Well done. Basically, use this time to now celebrate. Basically, use the World Cup playoffs to celebrate this moment because when the World Cup playoffs end and we have to start talking potential drafts, plural, the stress will then get to you. So, yeah. So honestly, congratulations to Vancouver Goldeneyes on winning the gold plan in 2026. Oh, thank God it wasn't you! Oh, thank God it was the Sirens! Because you've been saying all season that you think it would be a badder look on the league if New York won the gold plan again for a 3rd year, rather than us winning the World Cup for a 3rd year. And we have done an episode on a suggestion to has of how we could do the gold plan differently. Yeah, that is going to be coming out soon. Yeah. Yeah. So once again, I will say congratulations, Vancouver, and thanks to you as always. Till next time, take care.